Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show, and one of the great games last night at the Telstra Dome. It was Essendon in the end. They got out, look at that, 8 goals straight in the first quarter. That was to nothing, by the way. And then West Coast fought back, and in the end it was James Hird who was the difference. Lloyd kicked 8, 3 goals. McDougall, Cousin, Sampi, Matera. And Mercury in his 200th game kicked 3 goals. It was a super effort.
Yep.
We are looking for this man. We are still on the hunt for this man here, the James Hird.
This guy is crazy if he doesn't come in. We want him to come into the studio.
We do.
Gary.
Want to have a look at him.
We want to give him some golf clubs, a prize pack. We might even throw in a Toyota if you hurry up.
We're not giving him golf clubs. We have got a very good prize
We'll give you a putter.
We've got some Aquila shoes for him. So there you are. If you know him, that young man, give him a call. We want to see him in here at GTV9, but we're going to have a look at the game too. Brendan Gale, you cast your discerning eye over it. It was a super performance.
Do yourself a favour and get a copy of this game. If you didn't watch this game last night, you missed one of the all-time contests. It was fantastic.
Video.
The Bombers, Sydney, their tensions very, very early. They had all their guns up forward. Mercury started there in his 200th game.
Pressure on him.
Lucas, Lloyd, they all started there. And what they did early on, Brian, they were feverish in their endeavour to get the ball on quickly. They really moved it quickly, play on all costs like Solomon then. Solomon started off on fire, hitting the ball hard, but getting the ball inside 50 to their guns, getting plenty of opportunities.
Fair to say everything worked for him.
This is his first game, Bill.
Yeah.
The young kid, Ricky Dyson,
showed
stood
some
up all right.
poise.
Yeah, he did. He did. Composure at times.
Out, yeah.
But it paid dividends because, as Gary said just then, they jumped out of the blocks and kicked 8 goals straight. It was an absolute avalanche.
In fact, it was one of the most one-sided first quarters of footy I've ever seen.
It was like West Coast had not turned up, Gary, and considering they've got one of the elite midfield brigades in the competition, look at Suma there. He has serious cause for concern, and Musha. But funnily enough, they remained very composed.
They did. You've always thought if they could get the ball, they were going to be all right.
And that's what happened, Brian. Funny you say that.
Oh.
But look, at this stage, they're still shell-shocked. A crucial couple of turnovers.
Comedy capers, this was at this stage, Brendan.
It was. And it was
7 goals to none.
It looked game, set and match, didn't it, Gary? And I was fearing a blowout, but McEwen, his 200th game, vintage stuff from McEwen.
So how did West Coast get back into the game then?
Their midfield got on top, Bix. They just didn't get a sniff in the first quarter. It was Kerr, Cousins, Judd started to... Juddy's coming up on the handball. Started to get the ball into the forward line. Sampi, he's exciting.
Kick 3.
He got the ball kicked 3, that's right. But in fact, after kicking 8 unanswered goals, the game turned on its head. West Coast kicked 7 out of the next 8.
Wow.
So by half-time, you know, they were just had narrowly behind and within the ball game.
One of the most unusual matchups we've seen for a long time. Dustin Fletcher went down to fullback and picked up Phil Matera.
Well, it's incredible. 26 centimetres difference. And look, the boot was well and truly on the other foot at this stage. It was Essendon that was starting to make some mistakes. But Dustin Fletcher did a great job on Matera. Like, he would have got the shock of his life. But Phil Matera really worked at it. One
of the great assets of the Telstra Dome, I reckon, is that games, even when you are 48 points behind, because of the facilities there, it is possible to get back into the game.
Well, do you agree with that, Gaz? Best defender on best forward?
Oh, I think in that instance, initially... And you've got to give credit to John Worsfold here. He didn't panic as the ball
both
set.
coaches thought they were right.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there were times when they went long and Fletcher cleared it easily, but they had a little bit of momentum and they got back. Essendon's form in the first quarter was the reason why some of us picked them on top of the ladder. But then you saw why the West Coast Eagles are also a legitimate threat. I mean, Ben Cousins was just outstanding in the middle of the ground.
He was clearly best of field in the last quarter because a pretty other good players stepped up at that stage. But look, I've cut pretty much the last quarter. The third quarter was a real arm wrestle. It was goal for goal. But Ben Cousins, he had 30-odd touches, kicked 3 goals. At this stage, this put the Eagles in front. They'd actually just got in front before 3/4 time. But 30 seconds later, Matty Lloyd doesn't get too many opportunities to handball. He does on that occasion, very clean. Nathan Lovett-Murray.
Highlight package. Every goal was something special in the end.
And it was an editor's nightmare, Gary. I couldn't chop anything out. It was just fantastic individual highlights. Phil Matera kept working at it, presenting. And, you know, when the ball hit the ground, that's when he really came into the play there. But once again, it was just goal for goal. This guy, Adam McPhee, moved the ball through the corridor. And he played some game. He's, in fact, in great form. James Hird pushed himself down forward. He started to get away from Andrew Embley and they changed.
It was at this stage, Brendan, I think he had 15 or 16 touches where you could just see James Hird said, I will lift this team up and get them across the line. And Ben Cousins was doing the same for West Coast.
He imposed his will on
that.
that.
This guy, new recruit, new club,
Big
Last
kick.
chance.
And it was a big moment for Justin Murphy. It looked like vindicated shooting decision to recruit him, and it looked as though it was game over. But Jakovic turns around, missed some sodas throughout the day, 3 or 4 set shots. The most difficult shot of the night, moved like the Queen Mary, but put it through.
You mentioned James Hird there, Benny. What about, was his impact in the forward line? Did he kick 2 goals, or was it around the ground?
It was all over the place. But Matty Lloyd, I haven't even mentioned it yet. That was his 8th straight.
13 straight he's kicked.
8 straight for the match. It was an incredible performance.
What is going on?
A 10?
Mate, it was an
Can't give a 10.
it was an absolute superlative performance, Bill. I can't say
Bo
anymore.
Derek's 10. That is the only 10 you give, my friend.
I checked the voting rules this morning, and we're entitled to take in the broader
let me just
context.
explain something to you. Great last quarter from Jim. 9 out of 10 first 3 quarters for Jim. You can't give him 10 out of 10 unless he
Mate,
plays the complete
right, he had 9
4-quarter
out
game.
of 10 for the first 3 quarters. He had 15 touches in the last quarter and kicked 2 goals. Mate, I didn't get 15 touches in a match.
No, that's history.
Benny, you're saying
No,
he never
he's-
made a mistake
mate,
for the whole game.
They're my votes. I
He
give him
had
10 votes. He was
had-
magnificent.
He
There
had
they
8
are.
Just the
claimers.
rest.
There
Ben
they are.
Cousins, Matthew Lloyd, Daniel Kerr, just
James
fantastic
Hird had
individual
8
performance.
claimers.
How many?
8. No players influenced the
Stop
result like
razzing me.
that. I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you, Benny. I mean, now, there was an incident
Who
at
are
one
you?
particular stage. Matthew Lloyd, of course, under
yes.
some enormous pressure through the week, he was confronted with a very similar situation to the one that saw him go up before the tribunal. Let's have a look at this. Smart move, Matty. Look at that. See, he's a smart man.
Isn't he?
He's learned
Straight
by
arm.
his mistake. He
Don't
put
argue.
the front hand out there. The option was to try and barrel over the top. So very well done to Matthew
How
Lloyd.
did he get off?
He got off because the appeal was upheld.
How did Hurd get 10?
But Bridget McIntyre was walking out of the Channel 9 studio here. Who have you run into, Bridge?
Yes, Gary, I was walking out to my car and I stumbled upon this young man, the man we've been searching for all morning. This is young Drew Wilson, and he is the man of the moment, or we think he is. He might be an imposter.
Well, there he is.
That's a
He's up on the screen at the moment. The big hug from James Hird after the match-winning goal.
I
And
think identification confirmed.
you think it's confirmed. Drew, thanks for wandering in. That was one of the, I reckon that was one of the more exciting moments of your life.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting, Gary. I wasn't actually going along tonight. I was couldn't find someone to come with, and while my girlfriend who came along, she goes for Collingwood, so coach there to come along, and
Did
yeah,
you think
managed
about
to-
planting one on his cheek?
Oh, it was very tempting, yeah, but yeah, it was out of the blue, really, just sort of standing there, and next thing I know, we've got James Hird sort of, yeah, leaping up on top of me.
Did
So
you think there was any chance you're saying, get off me, Jim? That's what
nah, that wasn't happening.
Did he say anything to you?
Nah, I think he was just too excited.
Did he
and,
whisper something in your ear?
That can't say that, Bill. So,
Now, Drew, was he already your favourite player before that, or is he just...
it was one of many favourite players, Gary, yeah.
And what about the night itself? It was an unbelievable night for the Bombers.
Yeah,
You
it
must
was,
have been beside yourself.
It was a very good game for us, yeah, and just good to get on the winners list, and let's hope we keep going along.
And were you watching the Sunday footy show, or someone call you up, or...?
Yeah, I was watching, watch every weekend, but had many, of course, come along, so...
Jump in the Toyota, mate.
Yeah, Brian was a little bit excessive in his promise there of a Toyota, but we've got a fantastic prize pack. Just look behind you. All those things you can take home. We'll send you down to Aquila, get you a great pair of shoes, and you got to meet Bridget McIntyre as well.
Yeah.
So it's as good as it gets, mate.
You brought the missus with you?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was
Throw her on. Get on, Dale. Get on. There she is.
Dressing gown.
Beautiful.
Propose! It's Jackie.
Get down on your hands and
Do you
knees.
love her?
Hey, Drew, what's your girlfriend's name? We missed that. Did we get-
Jackie Webster.
Jackie, thanks for coming in with Drew. Bridge, thanks for doing that, and we've got some great prizes for you, and we'll get you a James Hird jumper and get it signed as well.
Okay, then. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, guys. What a wonderful set over there. Drew Wilson, there's a super moment.
He loves her.
Oh, you love it?
Bit teary.
He's a teary, He's actually teary.
I thought he was going to propose there.
Well, maybe we might get the proposal, but